Hi there, Pisces. This is Carrie Mubarak at wooingnature.life. Hope all is well. This is your November reading for 2019. I will be reading from Colette Baron Reed from her Wisdom of the Oracle cards, and then I will do some follow up from the Sun and Moon Tarot. While I'm shuffling, I'll just tell you that this is the height of the fall season. So we finished cleaning, clearing out, getting ourselves together, thinking about what it is that we need to purge and get rid of, and then clearing out our system, physical system, mental, emotional, and spiritual system cleanse. And also a time to kind of make an assessment on where we've been and what we've been doing, preparing for the winter, preparing your body for the winter. So this is tonic season. It's also time to start your garlic regimens and your echinacea regimens and also your vitamin C regimens, and start thinking about getting your sleep, getting plenty of sleep so that you can be well rested, and it will set your body up to have optimal immunity during the winter months. So I'm going to be pulling 3 cards from this deck, and again I will start focusing on the Sun and Moon Tarot after that. Okay, Pisces? All right, so the first 3 cards out we have is the never-ending story. So it looks like you're kind of going through some changes, going through some cycles, maybe repeating some cycles. This is a season or a time for repeated cycles, but that's because they're trying to kind of get you through that before the first of the year comes in, because when 2020 comes in, there's going to be some changes that are going to be taking place, and some significant changes taking place, but they are changes for those whose bodies, minds, and spirits are fully prepared for the change. So if you keep going through a cycle, something that's happening over and over and over again, and you're like, oh my God, I keep having to go through this particular lesson or this particular set of lessons, take your time with yourself, be gentle with yourself. But November is going to be probably a time when one of those lessons or a few of those lessons get recycled for you, so you can process through them quickly. So when you're going through that, you make sure you go deep inside yourself, really deal with the real issue. And sometimes these things are layered. They are layered upon layered upon layered. Hold on one second. Hello, I'm taping. Videotaping, thank you. So there is I was saying that if you feel like you're going through these particular changes over and over again, make sure you get deep in and deal with the core of the issue, because sometimes we can think that we're dealing with the core, and we're really dealing with another layer. And especially if there are issues that stem back to your childhood, there could be 2 or 3 layers. I've had that experience myself, been going through some cyclical issues with family, that keep repeating themselves over and over again. And so I had to really dig deeper. So dig deeper, Pisces, to deal with those things that keep happening over and over. We've got an unfinished symphony in reverse, which means that you may be clearing up. Like, I get a feeling that you may be kind of clearing up. And there is a protection message for those cards that come in reverse. So I am reading these intuitively. I'm not reading them straight out the book, but since this is a reverse card, I will read the reverse meaning out of the book, since that's what they recommend. But before we get to that, there's an unfinished symphony there. There's some unfinished business, but it seems like you may be clearing that up now. You know what I'm saying? And that may be the reason or the impetus for this card here coming up too, that something is unfinished. There's something that still needs to be processed, or either you're at the end of that phase of processing. This is definitely something from your past. It is something from before. It could be a past hurt. It could be a past situation, or something um, that was the impetus for some other kind of behavior or some other kind of issue. So the issue that you're dealing with was started a long time ago. Yeah, whatever it is, the cycle thing is something that started a long time ago, and you've been working toward completion on this, but you're not quite there, or you may be on your way there, or it could be happening this month. This month may be the time for the completion to be complete. All right, so I'm going to look at the protection message for card number 10 here. The Unfinished Symphony. It says, when unfinished business casts a shadow over your life, it's a reminder that procrastination is a form of self-sabotage. It's not in your best interest to stall. Even stumbling forward is better than holding back. Don't overthink things or let yourself get distracted. Just tie up any loose ends and deliver the results. Don't quit before the finish line. Spirit wants you to win. So do not quit, Pisces. It may be, this may be your story here. You may be looking at a situation and feeling kind of like bummed out by it. Could be an issue related to love, family, or something of the heart. And time again, something keeps happening over and over again. But don't give up, because you're almost there. You have gone farther than where you were before. So take that into consideration. And then this last card is to the sea, And when I see this, it's like you're kind of out on a boat, maybe feeling like you by yourself, alone, trying to find some direction. But the one thing about the sea is that it flows. It's water, so it flows, and being able to flow and go with the flow becomes really important. Don't chart your direction. Let things kind of unfold for you, especially while you're kind of finishing up this unfinished business stuff. Because I think as you finish the things that you started, or finish the journey that you're on, then things are going to materialize for you, or you're gonna find yourself in a much better position than where you were before. It comes with the lucky number 7. That's a spiritual number. So this is a spiritual journey for you just as much as it is a physical journey. So whatever is happening with you in relationship to this cyclical pattern thing, it is a spiritual message in it. There's a greater journey there than what you actually are realizing. It's gonna lay a foundation for you moving forward that will make it easier for you to materialize something like this, or maybe something like this, or not. Maybe it could be something totally different. But it's almost like once you get certain lessons behind you, no matter what the impetus for the lesson is, it fortifies you. And then anything like that happens in your future, now all of a sudden it's very easy to handle, because you've been there, done that, and you've been doing that your whole life, right? So this is no different. So kind of go with the flow. I do feel moved to read this message too. It talks about being in the flow and turning to the source, recognizing how pieces fit together, and watching the natural pattern of events. That's very important for you, Pisces, is to just go with the flow. And you guys are a water sign, so this shouldn't be that difficult for you. It may be more difficult for some of the other elements, but for a water sign, being able to kind of let go and move with the spirit of the moment is something that you feel a little more comfortable with than maybe some other people might. So focus on the unfinished business. Don't focus so much on the fact that you've repeated the cycle. Just let the cycle take care of itself. Let the cycle do the teaching, because the cycle will do the teaching for you. All right, I am going to do some clarification here with the Sun and Moon Tarot. Nice little deck. Nice little happy deck. I like this deck a lot. So we're going to do some follow-up and some clarity with the tarot. Give these a couple more shuffles. Know, Pisces, that you are divinely guided, that there is somebody looking out for you, looking over your shoulder and making sure that you're going to be okay. Especially as you transition out of this cycle and into the next one, because there's going to be another cycle. You just don't want to deal with this one, the same one over and over and over again. All right, so we got the Six of Pentacles in reverse. So there's something that may be dealing with money. Looks like the Tower card is bringing in some sort of change or some kind of change, some kind of change agent to push you along. So expect that if there is something kind of a shakeup or a breakup or a situation that kind of, I don't know, get you out of your habit, or get you out of the mode that you've been in, just know that that's there to kind of push this effort along. Okay. Sometimes when we're stuck and we can't get, we keep going through the cycle and we don't get unstuck, then the universe will send us something to unstick us. And that's what the Tower card is all about. Something to get you moving, something to break up the energy. You know how when you get congestion in your chest and you're coughing and you're trying to get it up and get it out and you have trouble, and then like one big percussive cough happens and you're able to bring it up. I know that's a gross example, but I'm just saying that's the example that's coming to my mind right now. It's almost like you got some you need some guaifenesin or something for your personal life. You need something to bring that up and out. And so this is kind of the percussive cough, if you will. All right, so Prince of Swords here, being led by the Eagle. So it looks like there's also some processing still happening in regard to I think it's something related to money, or it could be something, it could be money, it could be health, but I think it has to do with money. But this change is really asking you to step up and see things from a higher perspective. That's what the Eagle is all about. The Eagle, he's on the Chariot, so the Chariot is about movement. It's definitely not about stagnation, and we got this card that talks about movement as well. So movement is needed and called for and asked for. And so to me that means like looking at things from a higher level, because that Eagle sees from up high. It has a very much broader perspective. So to me, I feel like if you have been winding around in a tight circle, you need to broaden your view and broaden your scope out a little bit. Yeah, there's the universe. So to me, it's about widening your scope, broadening your scope, looking at things from a much bigger picture than the picture that you're seeing right now. I think you're kind of just raging in your own bowl, or kind of stirring around in a smaller pot. You may need to stretch out. I don't know if this situation may call for a move, or may be a cause for you to be in some other circles, or connect with some other people, or be in a different circle of people. Whatever it is, it's asking you to really, really pan out and see this from a 10,000 foot view, not from like this myopic, I'm looking at it in this little detail and that little detail. Sometimes you need to look at things in detail, but sometimes you need to really look at the bigger picture, and that's what it's asking you to do. Look at the bigger picture, and I think that will help you make some decisions here as you're completing and finishing up. We got the Five of Cups again. This is about something of an emotional nature. So I don't know. I'm getting with this Six of Pentacles in reverse, and this Five of Cups here, along with this Tower here, is telling me that there's going to be something tangible that's going to come along to kind of get you thinking in a different direction. But I think that ultimately the issue is around some kind of emotional conflict, or something maybe like some loss of some sort. You know, you lost some, you win some, you lose some, right? So this is about the loss, the things that you lost, or the things that, you know, didn't happen like you wanted them to happen. And so you have to kind of just move on. You have to move on and get over it. And, you know, and clear the air and clear your space so that you can think. Yep, that's Princess of Wands. We got Princess of Wands here, which is like the Page of Wands. The message is about really finding your inner power, really finding your inner star power, and being able to access that place, especially when things are of an emotional nature. You know, you have the emotional things are water. Then you have the fire here. Well, the fire dries up water. right? When you put a fire underwater and it boils and turns and it evaporates. So you've got to put some fire behind you. If it's an emotional issue, then you need to, I don't know, think about warming your heart. Think about doing something exciting that makes you feel good about yourself. Starting a new project, doing something new, initiating something that really connects you to who you are more so than spending a lot of time focusing on what didn't go right with what it was that you were planning. That's what I'm feeling, and that's what I'm sensing here with these cards. So I've got a nice little array right here of two cards, two cards, two cards. Let's see how they pan out with the other ones. Well, for Unfinished Symphony, the things that are unfinished, I feel like that's this. The things that are unfinished. It could be unfinished business that's causing your money to drain out, and so like something may come and say, "Hey, handle this and do this right away." I think a really good example of this is like, you know how when you're avoiding paying a bill and you avoid paying a bill and you avoid paying a bill, and then all of a sudden the bill collector comes and says, "Oh, you now got to pay this much money right now, or else we're going to cut you off." And it's like, damn, now I got to really dish out this money. That can be a shakeup of sorts because it's like, I didn't have it to begin with and now I got to pay more. But that message is saying, take care of your business, take care of your stuff right away, and then it won't hit you. So, like, to me, this is kind of that example of that kind of shakeup. And then with the never ending story, these two cards popped up and I have them placed here. This wasn't how I planned it, but this is how they're placed. So I just want to pay attention to that in relationship to the other card because it may have meaning there. So as far as the never ending story is concerned, a repeat cycle again, this is seeing things from a higher view, a higher perspective, not being so detail oriented and not being so focused on the detail, but focused on the message that's coming through from the 10,000 foot view. That's going to help you understand the cycle you're in, because sometimes we keep having the cycle. It's like, God, why does this keep happening? Why does this keep happening? And you feel like you're digging in to find out, or you feel like you're really nitpicking it. And then especially if you're somebody who gets on the phone, talks to your friends, and you're like, oh, this happened and this happened, and you find yourself repeating yourself, and you're like, I know people are tired of hearing me say this story over and over and over again, and they probably are. But that's okay because you're working through it. So regarding that, take a moment, take a deep breath, and say, what's the bigger picture here? What's really going on? Because I know these are the details. I know this is what happens. I know that, every time I try to do this particular thing, it turns out this way. And I'm not intending for it to happen that way, but now it's happening that way. And so why does this keep going on? Why does this keep going on? Why do I keep getting this? What is it about? Look at the bigger picture. There is a bigger picture. There's a much bigger picture. And then this to the sea thing is where these two cards came up, right? And what I feel like is, you know what? The things that didn't work out well, the things that you were disappointed in, those are the things that need to go out to sea. There's some rituals you can do around water, taking things to a river. If it's something that you want to release, you can take a representation of that and put it into the water and, wish it well. Or you can do that through meditation, like envisioning yourself with the thing or the object that needs to go away. If it's pain, if it's sadness, if it's depression, if it's your man, if it's whoever is disrupting your flow. You envision them leaving. You envision them there. You envision them in peace. And then you envision them walking away from you and you being at peace with that and turning and walk away. So there's some meditations that you can do around that, is what I'm saying too. There's some meditations that you can do to help you visualize the removal of any excess stuff that needs to be thrown away or gotten rid of. All right, I'm going to ask the cards if there's anything else for Pisces right now. Yeah, just kind of get unbound. Just kind of release yourself during the month of October. Get yourself untethered. release and untethered. You should not be tethered to anything. You shouldn't be attached to anything. You should release your attachments, and don't be afraid to release your attachments. Sometimes we get scared of that because we think that means we're going to be alone. No, the attachment is like how you're connected to that person. And if you're connected to another person and that connection is codependent, or if it's some enabling stuff going on, it's just to look at the attachment itself and release the attachment so that the relationship can grow and be what it needs to be. And then also this also is true of other kinds of attachments. So if you're attached to a negative view of yourself and your self-worth, then it can affect your finances, for example. It can affect you taking care of your business. Um, if you are feeling wound up or bound up in that cycle I was telling you about, then you can unrelease yourself from that too, just by panning out and looking at the bigger picture. And then as far as detaching from the things that you found to be disappointing. I know it's kind of hard to see on this card, but she has 2 cups here that she's kept, and then the other cups are out to sea. And then it looks like she's like sad about it or whatever, or she's reflecting on these things that are missing. But you just gotta like take your blessings that you got, the blessings from the lesson, the blessing from the lesson, and then you keep it moving. Okay, Pisces? A lot of water here, but not too much. You can handle it. All right. All right. If you want to take a deeper dive and find out what's going on with you personally for the month of November, or about anything in particular, you can reach out to me. I'm at Kerri, Kerri, at wooingnature.life. And as always, I hope you have a great November and you're having a wonderful life.